Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Inside the World of Real Estate. And today I have such a special treat for you. I have Sam Franklin, and he is from the Philadelphia area, and we're just going to learn all about Philly today. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Mary Ellen.
How are you doing today?
Good. I'm at my office here in Suburban Square in Ardmore. Um,
Ready
yeah,
to rock and
nice,
roll.
ready to go. And for once, it's not humid.
There you
So,
go. All right, great.
good
So
day.
tell our viewers about your background. Like, where is your family from? Where'd you go to school? Where were you growing up?
So, I am from the Princeton area of New Jersey.
Okay.
My mother actually moved to the main line when she came to the United States in 1968 as a
From?
nanny from England. So
Nice.
half of my family still lives in England. So we
Okay.
do go there for all growing up. I went there for family visits pretty frequently. And my father's from North Jersey. So I have connections throughout the state. And my last name came from my great great uncle when they first came from what I guess is today like Ukraine Poland border, came to Philadelphia as their port of entry and didn't want to be found for whatever reason. So they saw that Franklin was a really common name in Philadelphia. So they changed the family name to Franklin. No one knows what our real family name was, which for something 120 years ago. But anyway, this is a long story, but it's a kind of connection between my name and Philadelphia. I grew up coming here every year for family visits and such, but I have moved around quite a lot. I came to Philadelphia for a PhD program originally at Penn in 2006. So I was pursuing a career in academia in Spanish literature. That's how I speak Spanish.
Nice.
Um, and I love living down here and am really loving living in the suburbs because there's so much to do out here compared to the suburb I grew up in, which was only one town away from Princeton. So
Well, what a
I'm
great story. That's an amazing story. So many people have come from other countries to Philadelphia. It's a very big melting pot. I was just in Ireland, and there's a big Irish community in Philly, and a lot
oh
of
yeah.
people from my brother-in-law's family came from Donegal, and I was actually in Donegal, so it was like seeing where his family was brought up, and his parents came over I think in the 60s as well. So how interesting. What a great story. So now you are in Philadelphia. You have your Spanish background. How long have you been in real estate for?
So I first got licensed in 2003 in New Jersey. I am from a family of realtors.
Okay, that's interesting.
So my parents had gotten their license. I think my brother may have gotten his license first, then my parents as like a second. My brother's my only family member who did it as his only career. But
Got it. Okay.
I was helping with the family and then went on my own in 2010.
Nice.
Uh, I reoriented my business away from central New Jersey to the Philly area and further developed. I was doing a lot of corporate relo for
Mhm.
pharmaceutical companies, which are common in the central Jersey, and was able to continue with a lot of my corporate relocation business in Philly. We have Campbell Soup, Comcast, Urban Outfitters, family of companies. GSK, and of course, Dow Chemical, DuPont, that I think are all spun off into new companies in different places now. But so I've always covered a pretty close radius of people looking to commute to those larger corporations.
Nice.
And they have bought everywhere from Delaware to Bucks County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, Chester County, Philadelphia, and New Jersey.
I
So
love it. I love it. So you still
it's
have
a
your
lot of
license in
places,
Jersey
but
as well, right? So you have your license in Jersey as well still?
yes, and Delaware, but really my main focus
Is Philly.
are the Pennsylvania suburbs and Philadelphia.
Okay.
Just because it's a lot of, New Jersey's like
Totally
easy
different
because
than
I
Pennsylvania.
really know it, and it's easier to stay on top of everything there. I One of the biggest strengths that I always brought to the table for my relocation clients was helping match them with the right town,
Yes.
which sometimes is useful to find out where they would ideally like to live and where they were moving from, and then try and do some research and figure out what's like a good comparison point. And sometimes it was like a perfect match, price range, type of home, and everything. And sometimes it's a lengthy process to figure out what's going to be the best option with someone's budgetary constraints, family needs, schools. And we have so many great choices. It's sometimes the biggest challenge moving here is figuring out what you really want and what is your life going to be like up here. I've
No,
had
and that's great. So what I see from you is you're very well educated and you speak Spanish, but you have dealt so much with corporate relocation that you know how to tailor and get the people where they really need to be. So that's what I see. And also, I just did want to ask that I know you have a husband, and do you have any animals or anything else that you'd like to tell our viewers?
So I do. I have a rescue dog. We had a schnauzer that passed last year that I
Mhm.
rescued. Um, when I in 2009. So I
Okay.
had him for 15 years.
Nice.
With me. And then our new dog was a Schnauzer mix. He was actually a very wild
Mhm.
rescue.
A wild
I
rescue,
wasn't
like
sure if
that.
we were just going to be his foster dads because I was the primary caregiver and he would attack me in bed at night. And I was like,
This is the realtor you need because the dog attacks him and he's just calm as can be and cool and collective. There you go.
oh, and the same thing goes for people in my office are always surprised that I am able to just, I'm frequently with my corporate clients, the second realtor, and they're like, we know that you can work with really anybody. And that's true. I mean,
Yes,
the
and I'm
dog
really
has since calmed down. So,
the dog has
he,
calmed down, so that's a good thing.
and we did a breed test and we thought that he was a schnauzer mix because he really has like a
Mhm.
terrier
Yeah.
sort of like face, but
Yes.
he had no terrier and was a mix of 6 breeds.
Oh
So
wow, interesting. Okay, I have a terrier at home here at home, so they're adorable. They're so cute. So
and I love having a dog, and now being in the suburbs, it's really I'd like to move it back into the city because I'm more of like a city person. But
right
being out where I am now, it's pretty walkable and it's better for the dog. So,
there you go. There you
it's
go.
a push pull situation.
Yes. All right. So let's dig into what type of properties do you sell in the Philly area?
So in city of Philadelphia, I sell primarily condos and row homes.
Okay.
And I call them row homes because townhome being from the suburbs, I think of as like a more like planned community or
Right.
somewhere with an HOA versus a row home is
Yes. It's different.
like a fee
Yes.
simple. I don't know if it's called fee simple in
Yeah.
Georgia, but the ownership type is a little bit different,
Hmm.
and you don't have community amenities typically, with a few exceptions. I've only sold a handful of single family homes in Philadelphia.
But in the
And
suburbs, it's all about the single family homes.
it's all about the single family homes. I've sold a couple condos and a lot of townhouses, but the townhouses in Philadelphia and in a lot of areas of the main line can actually be a higher price point.
Of
Um,
course, because it's about location, right? And if you're in better schools, better closer to the city, of course, the prices are going to go up, the taxes are going to go up. That's just a normal thing.
and that's another big important part of moving to our area is that within our metro, now I am not an accountant, but the tax implications of living in different counties and whether you're in Philly or in New Jersey, where are you being taxed and how should you figure that into your housing budget?
Yeah,
Because
and that's great. So that's great because you have that knowledge and you have those professionals that you refer because someone's coming from California, they have no idea about all this, right? So you are such a person of giving great vendor refers, of like an accountant of this is the way you need to do things because it is different, like you said, in every county and there's just taxes and everything else. So let's go into like an average, I don't know, home or something like a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, how much square footage, about what in the suburbs, how much would that cost? And how expensive are your property taxes?
so if you were looking for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath home in the like true main closest to the main line,
Sure.
that's going to have pretty limited options. You might be able to find a smaller split level.
Okay.
You know, really the prices in my area have continued to go up. We're a very hot market. So I would have said maybe 5 to 700.
Hmm.
It's probably more in this like sixes. You could get something depending
Right.
on
Of
which
course.
town.
It just gives our viewers an idea, right? And about how much square footage are we talking?
So clo- if you're in an older home, it's going to be closer to like 15 to 1800
Okay.
square foot. If it was built in the 70s and beyond, you're most likely looking at like 2000 to 3000.
Okay.
Occasionally, we had a big boom of McMansions in certain
Yes.
areas.
Sure.
So I sold one to my parents. They where they bought a house that was so much bigger than what we grew up in, and that was they did not need 2,000 extra square feet. But
Right.
sometimes you're not really paying much extra for those
Right.
additional an 8,000 square foot house isn't necessarily selling for a lot more. Your taxes will be higher,
Right. That's
and
an interesting topic that you do say that because it's true. Because even here, we're getting a lot of people to right size. They might go from like a 10,000 square foot house. I know in Alpharetta, in Atlanta, and Milton and stuff. It's like houses are big. Houses are big in Atlanta. There, you get a lot of house for your money, right? But then people are downsizing and they're paying the same price for something, but yet they're downsizing to say half the amount of square footage. So it's very interesting, but it's kind of the same concept. So, like tax wise, like if you had a $600,000 property, what are the property taxes going to be approximately?
so in most areas of Delaware County, you would
Hmm.
have higher taxes, with the exception of Broomall,
Yes.
which is in Marple Township, has a lot of like commercial real estate, which brings that down.
Okay.
Generally, you're going to be looking at about like 2%.
Okay, so
More or
2% is
less.
a good number. Like in
If you're
Georgia,
in,
it's about one to 1.25. So where you're at, it's 2. It's not like in New
that's
York
similar
where
to
it's 4.
Philly. The property tax in Philly's like around that.
Yes, of
Um,
course, because it's a
and
city.
in Montgomery County, it's more likely to be closer to that. There are 2 or 3 municipalities that have what I call New Jersey style taxes, where you
Yes.
might be at like a 3%, 4%.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
And that's why you need a professional like yourself, because sometimes people don't look at that. They just look at a price of a house. I can afford that. And then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the taxes are what? Like they may come from a state where the taxes are really low. Like you come from you come from parts of Atlanta where it's less than 1% of the sales price,
yeah.
right? And then you come up to New York, New Jersey, and you're talking 2, 3%, which is a big percent as you get up in price. So you're paying those taxes. So
So there are areas here that are like in the King of Prussia area
yes,
and
I know that
where
very
the
well.
mall is, that the taxes are actually a little bit less than 1%, which is wild because it's a
Because they have so
really
much commercial, right? Because you said
right.
that affects commercial, where I don't think here that really happens. I think it's just, I think, but in Philadelphia, in the area you're in, if there's commercial properties within that county, it's going to help you, which is very interesting the way that they do that. Like I said, every state's different, every county's different in the whole United States and the whole entire world.
But if you go from King of Prussia is right on the border of Chester and Montgomery County.
Yes.
So your property taxes in most areas of Chester are so low,
Yes.
so low. But if you are a high earner, the county charges an earned income tax. So
Ooh,
you kind of have to say, it's like, all
interesting.
right, well, for like a middle class buyer, it tends to work out better because they're not paying, you know,
Mm.
it's something to think about. Just because it's
That
like,
I think
ooh,
our viewers just learned a lot of stuff because
yes,
I didn't know that. I mean, I had no idea. I never bought a house in Pennsylvania. I have no idea. But
it
that is
really
really
varies
interesting. Very
so
interesting to
much.
know.
We have a
Mm,
flat state tax, which is very helpful for budgeting, and that is not applied to retirement. Like there are a lot of
mhm.
restrictions on what it's applied to,
Sure.
so it's better for many people who are looking at like fixed income or a more sustainable payment, that they are paying less taxes here than, for example, in New Jersey. And again, I work with a lot of older buyers, downsizers,
Right sizers. I don't call it downsizing, call it right sizing. Right sizing.
and making the right choice. I volunteer for an aging in place organization
Yes.
that's all about choosing the right home, making sure your home is safe so that you have more options and that you can
Sure.
move and live somewhere that you want to be rather than live in an unsafe 4-story home where you're going to be in an, you know, so many people fall fall
Yes.
downstairs.
Yes.
And I myself am always looking for single story living for my, just because the next house that we kind of really settle into, I want to
Sure.
stay in.
That's why the people like the
And
master on Main here. You know what I mean? They want to have that too as well. So I get that. I totally understand that. So
And a lot
I
of
mean,
people move into Philly for that reason because they'd rather be in a co-op or a condo, and go to the theaters, museums, and
yes.
everything in their free time. Um, it's really offers a lot of great options for people who are in that next phase.
Yeah, so that was goes right into my next question, which is what are some of the biggest draws that people are coming to your area for? So,
So the biggest draw, I would say, are corporate transferees. So for one of
mhm.
the big companies, a lot of people in the towns surrounding Philadelphia want to move back to the towns where they grew up because they
Oh,
still have
sure.
roots there, particularly somewhere like Delaware County where there's a very strong regional identity. Having, I don't know if you ever noticed when you were living out here that they're like the accents can change from county to county in a
Yes, they
very
can.
like,
Yes.
distinct way. I don't know if you saw Mayor of Easttown on
Hmm.
HBO. Easttown's in Chester County, but it was depicted as being in Delaware County.
Right.
And Kate Winslet had to learn. She said it
How to
was the most
speak.
difficult accent to master for her.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really people love it here, and it's really a great area to for a lot of different reasons. As a city, it's so much more affordable than New York. I mean, definitely than New York, and largely than DC. Although our prices have caught up over the
Yes, of
years.
course. I think everyone's has, but yeah.
But you can get a nice 2-bedroom condo right next to the Opera House and a couple of the other major theaters,
Hmm.
under 400,000.
Wow.
So, that's in an older building, but it's in
That's
an
okay.
awesome
It's
location
location. Right. It's all about location with the real estate, right?
and pretty low taxes. And, the condo fee in those older buildings covers everything. So, it's just a really great place to retire for a lot of people
Right.
who really value the arts. So a lot of those people are moving from the suburbs into the city.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that
Very
is a
interesting.
big part of my business too, of course,
Fantastic.
is people moving suburbs to cities, suburbs. But it's a lot of people, if one spouse works in New York and another spouse works in DC, you can get to both places pretty quickly on Amtrak.
Yes.
And a lot of people do commute to New York City on a daily basis because the cost of living is just so
It's great.
drastically
Yes.
different.
Yes. Yes. So tell me so relocation clients come to your area. What are some of their challenges or things that they did not expect moving to Philly area?
So I've had the wildest variety of people's
We
challenges.
want to hear it though. Our viewers want to hear a couple challenges you've seen.
So I had several people who were being transferred for Lincoln Financial. They were
Uh-huh.
moving from essentially kind of a more rural part of New
Yeah.
Hampshire, which I think is already, pretty
Yeah.
rural.
Totally different. Yeah.
They were unaware of the diversity of Philadelphia.
Ah,
And, part of the service that I provide was kind of showing them different areas that might be a
mhm.
match. They were like, oh my God, why did they not tell me that it was going to be like this? And I was like, be like what? I was,
It's a
I was
beautiful
like,
city, right? I mean,
I was
even
like,
where
it's
I am,
silly.
I don't live in the city, but it's like the world is diversified now, right? There's people from every nationality, speak every kind of language. So that's interesting. I can definitely see that as a challenge if someone's coming from more of a rural area coming to Philly.
They just did not see it coming. And I was like, well, pretty much everywhere in my coverage area is pretty diverse. I mean, the
Yes.
town I grew up in, no, I mean, myself included, I maybe know one or two of my childhood friends who had two American born parents. So
Right.
it's just kind of like a
Yeah.
different, we're all about diversity in our metro, which I don't know that every town was like that always, but
Right.
it
I feel
definitely
like it
is that
now
way
is
now.
everywhere. I think it's now everywhere, even the suburbs where I live. I mean, it's like you've got people speaking different languages, different things. And, I mean, I'm married to a European. His first language is Flemish, you know what I mean? And he speaks German and French and,
Is
of
he
course, English.
from the Netherlands or Belgium?
He's from Belgium, from the Flemish side. So yes. Uh-huh.
My father's family actually moved. The last place they lived in Europe was Antwerp before
Yep.
they moved to the
That's
US.
Flemish as well. Yes.
Yeah.
We have
So,
very close friends from Antwerp. So yeah, anyway, we're going there next month to visit the
oh,
family.
that's
So,
awesome. I've actually never been there.
oh,
So,
you need to. It's beautiful, beautiful country. So we
one of
talked
the
about,
biggest challenges is
yes,
figuring out what your what's most important, which I
Yes.
can't tell you, but then figuring out what is the best fit with that, which I
Sure.
can help really provide that guidance, within the realm of fair housing laws.
Of
But
course. Of course.
all of that information is available online, but I
That's
always
what I
go
tell
for
my
more.
clients. Go ahead, look at everything. You let me know. And you know what I tell people is when they're buying too, and you probably have told them this too, is drive the neighborhoods when kids get off the school bus, drive the neighborhoods on the weekends, look at the type of cars that are parked, on the weekends, in the driveway, so that you get a good realm. So like you have to live there. I don't have to live there. So I just tell people that they have to do their homework as well. There's only so much we can do because we want to guide. We can't really guide you in the total right direction. I mean, we can guide you in a direction, but we cannot say, oh, can't be in that neighborhood because of this, this, and this. No, we cannot do that.
So one thing that I did, and this was really kind of seems extreme, I had someone who was here for 2 days and had to make a decision. And
Right.
they narrowed it down to two communities that were in very different areas
Right.
and were demographically very different. And I was
Yeah.
like, I can't tell you which one to choose because there are really pros and cons to living in those two areas. But I
Right.
can tell that you're not sure which one you'd feel most comfortable in. This person came up and I had them in my car. It was like I picked them up at the hotel and was like, we are going to the Acme
Yes.
closest to this townhouse community.
Yes.
And you are going to walk through and tell me, is this a local supermarket where you would be happy to shop? And the person was like, oh yeah, this is just like, I was like, okay, we're going to do the same thing at the other one. They were like, oh no, people were so rude and it just didn't feel right. And I was like, well, that was the way that person could
Yes.
really get a vibe.
That is a great tip. So I'm going to tell everyone out there, you go to the grocery store closest to the neighborhood that you want to buy in and just walk around. I love that. That is
Don't
great.
go to a Whole Foods because people get you.
Don't go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, right?
Well, because people drive from like three
Yeah, they
towns
do. They do.
over.
No, I'm saying like here in Georgia, it's Publix or Kroger. Yeah, those two. And where you are, it's Acme. Yeah, I know Acme.
I
Very
mean,
well.
I'm a Whole Food shopper, but I always try and emphasize that it's
The
most important
grocery
to go
store.
to like normal.
Right. Right. I get it. That is a great tip. I love that. So we talked about the companies that are in your area. We talked about what drives the economy is those great companies. What are some of the most popular activities that people do in your area?
People love the cultural things, theater,
Mhm.
art
Yes.
museums. Philadelphia has always had a large community of makers, like smaller scale artists. There's a lot to do with regard to that. People love outdoorsy things.
Mhm.
There's plenty of bike trails, hiking trails. The neighborhood where I lived in Philadelphia was very outdoorsy. I
Mhm.
have terrible allergies, so it's not my thing.
Right, of
But
course. But
I
you
can
have
definitely
other things that
appreciate
you're
it.
like, right. And then of course you've got all the sports, right? The professional sports and
Yes.
everything like that. So that's another whole realm to the world,
And
right?
Philly sports teams are really like that is like a thing.
It's like
Um,
they bleed it. They bleed, yeah, the Phillies and yeah,
yes.
and
I
the
always try to go
Eagles.
to a couple games each year just because I love the environment. But to
Yes.
be honest, I'm not like a huge sports fan, but I love something I personally love is just live sporting events. Um,
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
so if someone
Um,
invites me, I'll go.
There
But
you go. It's all about the social. So food scene. Let's talk about the food scene, restaurants, and so that's probably another thing that people go out and do, and they go to nice restaurants and stuff like that in your area.
yes. So the main line has definitely had, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people moved their restaurants out of the city because Montgomery and Delaware County had much more relaxed COVID
Mhm.
laws. a lot of their clientele decided to move out of the city just because they wanted more space. So there's so many more choices than they were like 10 years ago. Restaurants here, we have a very active restaurant scene. Restaurants sometimes only make it a couple years because we also have high commercial rent, but we tend to constantly have something new coming that frequently has an amazing chef, that sometimes is like a celebrity chef who has a
Nice.
couple restaurants or becomes a celebrity living here. I personally, just due to like dietary things, and my husband is pretty much dairy free. We like a lot of like Chinese and
Mm-hmm.
Korean food,
Nice.
which we have a great Chinatown, and a lot of the Korean restaurants are actually in the periphery of the city and Upper
Okay.
Darby. My favorite restaurant right now happens to be in Upper Darby, but is an
Oh,
unusual Korean style bar that is open very late night. It's a Korean barbecue, but it's really like a soju, and
nice.
it's really fun. Something very different that I had never been to even in New York City. So I
I
love
love
the fact
that.
that we have all of these.
You do. I
Philadelphia
mean,
is
it's like you're in New York, but you're not. I mean, you have a lot of the stuff that New York has. I mean,
yes,
there's nothing like New York. We know that. I'm born and raised. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. So I always say there's nothing like New York, and I
there
always say
definitely is not. But
Atlanta's not really a city compared to New York, and but it has its own culture. It has everything that people are looking for in a city, and like you can get to the airport quickly, you can get out of the country quick, I mean, you can fly different places all over the country, all over the world, so you're not like driving 5 hours to an airport, so you have everything. You have the infrastructure, you have ways to get into Philly, you've got buses, trains, and cars. And what else you have in Philly is the Four Seasons, which is great. I mean, you have the weather's really great. It's not sometimes not too hot, not too cold, and you see the spring and the fall, which are so beautiful there. Um,
that is definitely like the best time to come if you're just planning a general trip,
sure.
is like spring and fall, because our summers can be really extreme for being in the north. So
Yes.
people
Yeah.
think it's
It
like,
just gets humid, and sometimes it's hotter up in Philly than it is in Atlanta.
oh
I know
yeah,
that because I talked to my sister who lives in Philly, and you know that she lives in Phoenixville, and she'll be like, "It's like 94," and I'm like, "Oh, it's only 92 here."
Phoenixville is a lot like, the temperature is much more pleasant up there than it is like closer to the like
Right.
Delaware River.
Yeah. Sure.
Um,
Sure. Yeah. That's
but
good.
no, it's if you like the Four Seasons, which a lot of people do, it's really pretty to see the trees change, and we have Longwood Gardens and Winter Thur, which is great at the holidays or just over the summer. Um, a big thing that people love here, and it's always shocking how many people, from like a police officer, school teacher, have shore homes
Yeah.
down the Jersey Shore. I don't know if you ever went down there when you
Yes.
were
Yeah,
like,
I've been to Jersey Shore. Everybody's been to Jersey Shore. And that's another thing, is that you're so close from Philly to the
it's
Jersey
really
Shore,
close.
and people have houses down there, or they go down for vacation during the summertime, and it's really a good getaway from getting out of Philly.
Yeah, traffic in Philadelphia is so different in the summer because like it feels like there's a population drop. Same thing in my office. It's like gets to be a ghost town July and August because everyone's,
Down
you
at
know,
the shore.
down the shore. There are people, in my office who switched their business to down there for a couple months. And
And they
you
just
know
live
what?
down there. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
always end up selling a couple extra houses in the summer because I work all summer long.
There you go. Love that. All right, so let's talk about a little bit more about you. About, has there been any travel destinations that you want to tell our viewers that you have loved, or something on your bucket list that you want to travel to?
So I got married in Portugal
Nice.
8 years ago, and I have been to Portugal probably like 6 times. A couple of the times were
Nice.
for wedding planning.
Are you
Um,
gonna wait? Are you gonna retire there?
I don't know.
Okay, because
And
a lot of
one
people
thing,
are retiring there right now, so I was just asking.
so I lived in Spain for a couple years and went to Portugal during that time,
Mhm,
but it really is a great tourist destination and place to
mhm,
retire. I would say more so than Spain if you don't speak Spanish. So,
mhm,
because of the port trade and a lot of the relationship with the UK tourism wise, the English level, I mean, you really don't have to speak Portuguese
mhm,
because while in Spain, I met plenty of people in their 20s who really had no English. Almost everyone, when I was there with all of my English family for our wedding,
mhm.
no one
Okay.
even, no one even tried. It was so it's really an easier place to live in a certain regard. If you are thinking about going somewhere, it people are very friendly, and I actually have not been back there in a little while, but am that's one of my next places I want to plan a trip. We're going to Spain in September to a small seaside town that we like south of Barcelona. And I would like to do some more travel to some edgier places, but it's kind of, you know, things change so frequently. And it's like, well, kind of I play it safe a lot of times with just where I'm going. My number one bucket list is to Machu Picchu, but I got altitude sickness going to Colorado. So I went to Machu Picchu for my 40th, but didn't
Okay.
really start with the training. And I was coming off of being a smoker in my 30s, so
Okay. Well,
and my
Machu Picchu
lungs
is
were not
really nice.
prepared for that. Hmm?
Machu Picchu is just really just a beautiful place, but I can understand the altitude sickness. I can definitely understand that.
you People have to really prepare
You do. You do.
like
You have to spend a
uh,
couple days in Cusco and just like I remember I never had a headache in my life, and when I went there the first day, I was like, "Okay." So I just kept taking the tea and stuff, and I ended up being okay the next day, but it was like for one night, I was like, "Ooh, this is tough." So, but it's absolutely gorgeous when you get there.
the
It's
tea makes a huge difference, I think. I was in the foothills of the Andes in northern Argentina, and I was surprised how much that really helped and just took away any sort of discomfort that we were having driving
Mhm.
up the mountain. So
Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah, so Machu Picchu is a place you wanna go to, and I love to hear all about Portugal, that's amazing. So I have, like, one more question for you. Well,
sure.
actually 2. The one that I have right now is tell me about and we all have a ton of these, about a transaction that hit your heart or it just was so rewarding so that people know how you work.
So, one of my most rewarding transactions was working with a couple that was, they were empty nesters in their early 60s and were doing what they referred to as an absolutely insane move of relocating from Florida, where they had lived for the past 20 years, to be back up in the Philadelphia area.
Mhm.
And they were like, we've already, our arthritis is bad. We know that this is like a
Right.
crazy choice, but we're going to get better health care up there than we are in our area, Florida.
Okay.
And we're from the Northeast. And they were like, I don't know if this is really the right choice because we want to be close to people we know. They I found them the perfect house that worked with their mobility needs in an area where there were probably less than 25 ranches. And seeing where they were in their lives and mentally at that time, and then seeing them a couple months ago, and it's like, wow, they have totally flourished and look so happy.
I love that. That has to be rewarding.
It's like they were new people. And I was like, wow, they were like, this is paradise. And I was like, wow. I was like, I'm so glad you think that.
And you don't really know how much you impact someone like in that aspect. And I had a similar situation to that recently. And you kind of feel like, oh yeah, but then when they really tell you how much you impacted their lives. I love that. So yeah.
A lot of times the ways I impact is helping people just get out of a situation, whether it's, a transfer that they need to do, but was unplanned, or, it's just finding solutions that work for, my clients. And a lot of times I become very emotionally invested in just them, achieving their goal.
Yes. And so what I know about you, and I got to tell our viewers, which we know, love, and trust you, because we're going to give, if you're going to Philadelphia or that area, you need to contact Sam, is that your background in Spanish, your background in business, but then the really big piece, the puzzle, is how much experience you have in relocation, in the emotions involved, in the stress involved, in putting the pieces of the puzzle together and to make people flourish wherever they are in their new home. So that's what I see with you, Sam. I do. And I feel like everybody needs to know and get to know you. If they're looking in the Philadelphia area, you know what? Interview them. Just interview them, because you know what? All I say to everybody, sometimes you got to interview different agents and you have to know how they do business. And Sam has such a great heart, and I really feel like you should choose him and interview him if you're in the Philadelphia area. And I have one more question. Is there anything else you want to tell our viewers that I haven't covered?
Even if you're just in your early stages of thinking about it, call me.
Yes.
Ask me questions.
We're like a world of knowledge. Realtors, we know everything. We know connections. Even if you're not thinking about moving to like 5 years, let us know. We can connect you with people to help you declutter your house, do things. So sometimes it's a process, and sometimes it could take 5 years for the process, especially if you lived in the house for 40 years or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's me saying, you want to know what? I don't think this area is a good match.
Right.
But 2 counties over or the next state, I was like, I know someone, that could, explain to you why that area might offer what you're looking for. I know when people are telling me what they need, I'm from the Northeast, so I know all of
the whole area. Yes.
Like a much larger area that I don't cover. And I'm sure that that's somewhat the same for you, being down in Atlanta.
Yes. So it has been such a pleasure to really get to know you on this. And I hope our viewers listen to the whole thing and listen to you on how you do business. And thank you for spending your time with me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.